All right, Imagine Watanya Akwadam, which means to turn and face the east. We're going to begin with the prayers. Beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Hayah, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Taba'ah, Ratazaka, Hayah, Bashamayim, Nathalanawa, Lakam, Ka Yawam, Wasalakanawa, Ka Wadnawa, Ka Salaknawa, Ka Wathinawa, Wala'ah, Tabayanawa, Manasai 1, Abal, Hawashanawa, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Hamalagwa, Waha'ala, Wathaparaz, Laiwalamyum, Aman. In the English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come, thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. The Akak with the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ukashah, Nathanawa Akak, Akak Larapa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Akak Latahar, Hamat Zarayim, Akak Lapayam, Hamathia, Hakak Awakawa, Atama'ala, Lagar Shan, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Wadaman. In the English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers, the power to raise the dead, the power against unclean spirits, to cast them out. In the name of Yahweh Shai, thank you, so be it. We're going to read Psalms 121st chapter, beginning with the Hebrew. Ashah, Ayanya, Ahahaya, Mayan, Yaba'ah, Isaiah, Ma'im, Yahweh, Aisha, Shamayam, Wa'arataza, Al-Yathan, Lamawat, Ragalka, Al-Yanawam, Shamarka, Hana, La'ah, Yanawam, Wala'ah, Yayashan, Shamar, Yashalim. Yahweh, Shamarka, Yahweh, Tazalka, Al Yad, Yanyanka, Yawamam, Hashamat, La'ah, Yakaka, Wayarak, Alayala, Yahweh, Yashamarka, Makal Rai, Yashamar, Athnapashka, Yahweh, Yashamar, Tazaathka, Waba, Wa'aka, Ma'aitha, Wa'ai, Awalam. In English. I will lift up mine eyes into the hills. From whence cometh my help? My help cometh from Yahweh, which made heaven and earth. He will not suffer thy foot to be moved. He that keepeth thee will not slumber. Behold, he that keepeth Yashala shall neither slumber nor sleep. Yahweh is thy keeper. Yahweh is thy shade upon thy right hand. The sun shall not smite thee by day, nor the moon by night. Yahweh shall preserve thee from all evil. He shall preserve thy soul. Yahweh shall preserve thy going out and thy coming in from this time forth and even forevermore. We're going to read Psalms 83rd chapter in Hebrew. Alahayim, Aldama Yalaka, Al Thakaraj, Wa Al Tashakwat, Al Kayahana, Awa Yabyaka, Yahamaya 1, Ra'ash, Al Amaka, Yara Yamwa, Sawada, Wayatha, Yaitazawa, Al Tazapawanyaka, Amarwa, Lakawa, Wakaki, like the Wanakaki Dum, Magalia, Wala'a, Yazakar, Sham Yashala, Awada, Kaya, Nawaitazawa, Laba, Yakhadwa, Alyaka, Baryat, Yakarathwa, Ahalia, Adawam, Washamayalium, Mawaba, Wahagarium, Gabal, Wama1, Wamalak, Halashad, An Yeshabya, Tazawar, Gamashawar, Nalawa, Imam, Hayawa, Zarwai, Labanya Lawat, Salah, Aishalaham, Kamadyan, Kasaya, Sara'ah, Kayabyan, Manakal, Kwayashwan, Nashamadwa, Bayan, Dara, Hayawa, Daman, La'adama, Shayathamwa, Nada, Yamawa, Kaira, Wakazaba, Wakazabak, Wakazal, Mana'ai, Call, Nasayakamwa, Ashar, Amarwa, Nayarasha, Lanawa, Na'awat, Alahayam, Alahaya, Shayathamwa, Kagalgala, Kakwash, Lapanya Raka, Ka'ash, Tabaira, Ya'ira, Wakalahabab, Kalahat, Aryam, Khan, Taradama, Basairaka, Wabasa, Wapatka, Tabahalam, Mala'a, Panyaham, Kwalawan, Webakwashwa, Shamka, Yahawa, Yabashwa, Webahawa, Ayai, Wekaparwa, Weabadwa, Weadaiwa, Kayatha, Shamka, Yahawa, Labadka, Al-Yawan, Al-Kal, Al-Rataza. We're going to read Psalms 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O God.
And be not still, O God.
For lo,
lo,
thine enemies make a tumult.
Thine enemies make a tumult.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
And they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people.
And consulted against thy hidden ones.
Consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said, Come, and let us cut them off from being a nation.
And let us cut them off from being a nation.
That the name of Yashala
That the name of Yashala
may be no more remembrance.
may be no more remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against
They
thee.
are confederate against thee.
The tabernacles of Edom,
Tabernacle of Edom.
and the Ishmaelites,
The Ishmaelites.
of Moab,
Moab.
and the Hagarenes,
And Hagarenes.
Gabal,
Gabal.
and Ammon, and Amalek,
And Amalek.
the Philistines,
The Philistines.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
With the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
Assur also is joined with
They
them.
have hope in the children of
They
Lot.
have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
as to Sisera,
As to Sisera.
as to Jabin,
As to Jabin.
at the brook of
At
Kasan,
the brook of Kasan.
which perished that endured.
Which perished and endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became as dung for the earth.
Make their nobles like a red,
Make their nose like a red.
and like Zeel.
Like the head.
Yea,
Yea.
all their princes as Abba,
All their princes as the Baal.
and as Zamunah,
And as Amunah.
who said,
Who said,
Let us take to ourselves
let's take to ourselves
the houses of God
the house of God
in possession.
in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God.
make them like a wheel,
Make them like a wheel.
as the stubble before the
As
wind,
the stove for the wind.
as the fire burneth the wood,
As the fire burns the wood.
and as the flame setteth the mountains on
And
fire.
as the flame set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Bear their faces with shame.
that they may seek thy name.
That they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh.
let them be let them be confounded and troubled forever.
Let them be confounded and choked forever.
Yea,
Yea.
let them be put to shame and perish,
Let them be put to shame and perish.
that men may know that thou,
That may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone,
is Yahweh,
Yahweh,
art the most high over all the earth.
art the most high over all the earth.
We're going to read the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Why Yahweh?
Wa Yahweh Shai,
Why Yahweh Shah?
Wa Ma'aka'ala,
Why Maka'ala?
Wa Lahayim,
Why Lahayim?
Atazav Yah,
Zabi'ah.
Alawap Yahana,
Alawak Yohanan.
Alawapyum,
Alawak.
Hasaranyum,
Asiramium.
Akwatazayanyum,
Akwatazayoyim.
Akayayoyum,
Akayayoyim.
Wa Hagwathin,
Wahagwathin.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
Wa Hashem Yahweh Shai,
Hashem Yahweh.
the Walaman.
The Walaman.
The blessings in English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh.
and Yahweh Shai,
And Yahweh Shah.
and Michael,
And Michael.
and the angels,
The angels.
commanding General Yohana,
Commanding General Yohanan.
the generals,
General.
the captains,
The captains,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
Troopers.
and the sisters.
And the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh.
in the name of Yahweh Shai,
In the name of Yahweh Shah.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shopping, you can turn and be seated. All right. As we know, today is the memorial of the blowing of trumpets, outlined in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. This is a high holy day, according to Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. So, as with any high holy day or a high Sabbath, we'll be reading the entire chapter, 23rd chapter of the book of Leviticus. We'll read it in Hebrew and we'll read it in English. We'll break it on down. We'll go through the entire chapter first, read all of it, and then once we get through the chapter, we'll break down this specific feast, which is the memorial of the blowing of trumpets. All right. 7 verses at a time, as per tradition. So we're going to begin in Leviticus 23, verses 1 through 7. Where the bar Yahweh al Mashallah Amar, verse 2. The bar Albanya Yasha Allah, wa Amartha Alaham, Mawa Idea Yahweh Ashar, Slagim, the Kwarawa, Atham, Makwaraya, Kodash, Allah, Ham, Mawa Idea, verse 3. Shashath, Yamayam, Tha'aisha, Malakah, Wabayawam, Hashabiyaya, Shabbath, Shabbath Waka, Makara, Kodash, Kal, Mala'aka, La'a, Ta'aishawa, Shabbath, Awa, La Yahweh, Bakal, Mawa Shabbathikam, verse 4. Allah, Mawa Aya, Yahweh, Makwaraya, Kodash, Ashar, Thakwarwa, Atham, Bamawa Aya, Slagim, Bamawa Dam, Salagim, verse 5. Bakadash, Hara'ash 1, Rabbi, Ashar, Lakadash, Bayan, Ha'irabium, Pasak, La Yahweh, verse 6. Wabakamasha, Ishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Hazaha, Chaga, Hamatazawath, La Yahweh, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Matazawath, Thakal Wa, verse 7. Bayawam, Harwam, Hara'ash 1, Makara, Kodash, Yahaya, Lakam, Kal, Malakath, Ibadah, La'a, Tha'ai Shawa. So those are the first 7 verses in the Hebrew. I'm going to read those same 7 verses in English. Once again, we're in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verses 1 through 7. Verse 1. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, concerning the feast of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations, even these are my feasts. 6 days shall work be done, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of rest. And holy convocation, ye shall do no work therein. It is the Sabbath of the Lord in all your dwellings. These are the feasts of the Lord, even holy convocations, which ye shall proclaim in their seasons. And the 14th day of the first month at even is the Most High's Passover. And on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto the Most High. 7 days ye must eat unleavened bread. In the first day ye shall have an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. We're going to read verses 8 through 14 in the Hebrew. Wakar Batham, Asha, La Yahweh, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Bayawam, Hashab Ya'ayim, Makorah, Kodash, Kal, Malakath, Abadah, La'ah, Ta'aishawa, verse 9. Waya Debar Yahweh, Waya Debar Yahweh al Mashallah Amar, verse 10. Debar al Banya Yasha Allah, Wa Amartha, Alaham, Kaya, Tabawa, Al, Ha'arataza, Ashar, Anya, Nathan, Lakam, Wakwatazar, Ratham, Ath, Kwatazayara, Wa Batham, Ath, Imar, Ra'ashiath, Kwatazayar Kam, Al, Hakahan, verse 11, Wahanayap, Ath, Ha'imar, Lapanya Yahweh, Laratazan Kam, Umakarath, Hashabath, Yep, Slagi, Yanyapunwa, Hakahan, verse 12, Wa'aisha Yatham, Bayawam, help her out. Hanayakam, it's like Hanayapakam, Ath, Ha'imar, Kabash, Salaki, Thamayum, Ban, Shanathwa, La'ila, La Yahweh, verse 13, Umanakak, Salaki, Umanakathwa, Shanya, Isharanyum, Salath, Bawa, Salaki, Balawala, Bashama, Salaki Bashaman, Asha, La Yahweh, Rayak, Nayakak, Wanasagwa, Yayan, Rabia Haitha, Slagi, Hayan, verse 14, Wala Slagi Walakam, Wakwal Ya, Wakar Amal La'a, Tha'akawa, Itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Habayakam, Ath, Koraban, Alahayakam, Kakwath, Iwalam, Ladarathicum, Bakal, Mashabathicum. So that was verses 8 through 14. We're going to read those same verses in the English, beginning with verse 8. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 3, verse 8. But ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High 7 days. And the 7th day is an holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, When ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the first fruits of your harvest unto the priest. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Most High, to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. And ye shall offer that day, when ye wave the sheaf and he lamb without blemish of the first year, for a burnt offering unto the Most High. And the meat offering shall be and the meat offering thereof shall be 2/10 deals of fine flour mingled with oil, an offering made by fire unto the Most High for a sweet savor. And the drink offering thereof shall be of wine, the 4th part of an hin. And ye shall eat neither bread, nor parched corn, nor green ears, until the selfsame day that ye have brought an offering unto the Most High. It shall be a statute forever throughout all your generations and all your dwellings. All right. So now we're going to read verses 15. Let's see. 15 through 21. In the Hebrew. All right. So Leviticus chapter 23, verse 15 in the Hebrew. Wasapar thum lakam, Amath Karath, Hashabath, Mayawam, Habaya Akam, Ath, Imar, Athawana Pa, Shabai, Shabathwath, Thamayamtha, Thahayana, verse 16, I, Umakarath, Hashabath, Hashabyaitha, Thasaparwa, Kamashim, Yawam, Wakorab Thumb, Manakah, Kadashah, La Yahweh, verse 17, Mama Washabathikam, Thabayawa, Lakam, Thanawapa, Salaki, Shatayam, Shanya, Asharanyum, Salath, Thayana, Kamataza, Thapanya, Bakar, Bakawarium, La Yahweh, verse 18, Wahako Korabtham, Al, Halakam, Shabaitha, Kabashim, Thamayam, Ma, Banya, Shana, Wapar, Ban, Bakwar, Akkad, Wa'ayalam, Shanyam, Yahayawa, Ilah, La Yahweh, Wamana Katham, Wanasak Yaham, Asha, Rayak, Nayakak, La Yahweh, verse 19, Wa'aisha Yatham, Shayar, Isayam, Akkad, Lakatath, Lakataath, Washanya, Salaki Kabashim, Banya, Shana, Lazabak, Shalomyam, verse 20, Wahanya, it's like Wahana Pa, it's like Wahana Yap, Hakahan, Atham, Isle, Lakam, Haba, Salaki, Habakawarium, Thanawapa, Lapanya, Yahweh, Isle, Shanya, Kabashim, Kodash, Yahayawa, La Yahweh, Lakahan, verse 21, Wakra Thumb, Ba'itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Makarawa, it's like a Makara, Kodash, Yahaya, Lakam, Kal, Mala'akath, Ibada, La'a, Tha'ishawa, Hakwath, Iwalam, Bakal, Mawashabathicum, Ladarathicum. So that was verses 15 through 21. We'll read those same verses in English. It's Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, beginning in verse 15. And ye shall count unto you from the morrow after the Sabbath, from the day that ye brought the sheaf of the wave offering, 7 Sabbaths shall be complete. Even unto the morrow after the 7th Sabbath shall ye number 50 days. And ye shall offer a new meat offering to the Most High. Ye shall offer out of your habitations 2 wave loaves of 2 tenth deals. They shall be of fine flour. They shall be baken with leaven. They are the first fruits unto the Most High. And ye shall offer with them, Slaki, with the bread, 7 lambs without blemish of the first year, and 1 young bullock and 2 rams. They shall be for a burnt offering unto the Most High, with their meat offering and their drink offering, even offering made by fire of sweet savor unto the Most High. Then ye shall sacrifice 1 kid of the goats for a sin offering, and two lambs of the first year of Slakin, and 2 lambs of the first year for a sacrifice of peace offerings. And the priest shall wave them with the bread of the first fruits for a wave offering before the Most High, with the two lambs. They shall be holy to the Most High for the priest. And ye shall proclaim on the selfsame day that it may be an holy convocation unto you. Ye shall do no servile work therein. It shall be a statute forever in all your dwellings throughout all your generations. All right. So now we're going to read verses 22 through 28 in the Hebrew. So Leviticus chapter 23, beginning at verse 22. Ubakwatazar rakam ath kwatazayar aratazakam la'a habala slaga slagin fakala pa'ath shadka bakwatazarka walakwat kwatazayarka la'a thalakwat la'anya walagar tha'ai zab atham anya Yahweh Alahayakam, verse 23. Why Debar Yahweh al Mashah La Amar, verse 24. Debar al Banya Yashar Allah La Amar Bakadash Hashab Ya'aya Ba'akad La Kadash Yahaya Lakam Shabbath what? It's like a Shabbath 1, Zakar 1, Thar Slagi, Thar Y, Makarah Kodash, verse 25. Kal Malakath Abadah La'a Taishawa Wakarabath Kam. It's like a Wakarab Thumb Masha La Yahweh, verse 26. Why Debar Yahweh al Masha La Amar, verse 27. Akah Ba'ai Shawar Lakadash Hashab Ya'aya Hazaha Yawam Hakaparyum Hawa Makara Slaki Kodash Yahaya Lakam Wa'ain Yatham Ath Slaki Napash Theakam Wakorab Thumb Asha La Yahweh, verse 28. Wakal Malakah, La'ah, Tha'aishawa, Ba'itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Kaya, Yawam, Kaparyum, Hawa, Lakapar, Al Yakam, Lapanya, Yahweh, Alahayakam. All right, that was verses 22 through 28. I'll read those verses in the English. Leviticus chapter 23. Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 22. And when you reap the harvest of your land, thou shalt not make clean riddance of the corners of thy field when thou reapest. Neither shalt thou gather any gleaning of thy harvest. Thou shalt leave them unto the poor and to the stranger. I am the Most High your power. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the 1st day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Also on the 10th day of this 7th month there shall be a day of atonement. It shall be an holy convocation unto you. And ye shall afflict your souls, and offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. And ye shall do no work in that same day, for it is a day of atonement, to make an atonement for you before the Most High your power. All right. All right, so we're going to read verses 29 through 35. All right, in the Hebrew, Leviticus chapter 23, verse 29. Kaya call, Hanapash, Ashar, La'ah, Tha'aina, Ba'itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Wanapartha, Ma'imya, verse 30. Wakal, Hanapash, Ashar, Tha'aisha, call, Malakah, Ba'itazam, Hayawam, Hazaha, Waha Abadaya, Ath, Hanapash, Hawa'ah, Makarab, Ima, verse 31. Call, Malakah, La'ah, Tha'aishawa, Kakwath, Iwalam, Ladarathicum, Bakal, Mashabathicum, verse 32. Shabbath, Shabbath 1, Hawa, Lakam, Wa'anya Thum, Ath, Napashathicum, Bathashai, Bathashai, Lakadash, Ba'irab, Ma'irab, Irab, Thashabathwa, Shabbath come, verse 33, where the bar Yahweh al Mashallah Amar, verse 34, the bar Banya Yasha Allah La Amar, Ba'amasha, Aishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Hashab Yaya, Hazaha, Chaga, Hasakawath, Shabaitha, Yamayam, La Yahweh, verse 35, Bayawam, Hara Ash 1, Makara, Kodash, Kal, Malakath, Abadah, La'ah, Tha'aishawa. Those verses 29 through 35. We'll read those same 7 verses in the English. Once again, we're just going to make sure we read through the whole chapter, then we'll break down today's feast. We're in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, verse 29. For whatsoever soul it be that shall not be afflicted in that same day, he shall be cut off from among his people. And whatsoever soul it shall be that doeth any work in that same day, the same soul will I destroy from among his people. Ye shall do no manner of work. It shall be a statute forever throughout your generations and all your dwellings. It shall be unto you a Sabbath of rest, and ye shall afflict your souls. And the 9th day of the 10th of the month at Slakin, and the 9th day of the month at even, from even to even, shall ye celebrate your Sabbath. Verse 33. And the Most High spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, The 15th day of this 7th month shall be the feast of tabernacles for 7 days unto the Most High. On the 1st day shall be an holy convocation. You shall do no servile work therein. All right. Where we leave off at? So we're going to read verses 36 through 42. So Leviticus chapter 23, verse 36 in the Hebrew. Shabaitha Yamayam, Fakwar Yabwa, Asha, La Yahweh by Yawam, Hasham Ya Slaki, Hasham Naya, Slaki, Hasham Yanya, Makara, Kodash, Yahaya, Lakam, Wa Karabtham, Asha, La Yahweh, Atazarath, Hawa'a, Kal, Malakath, Abadah, La'ah, Ta'ishawa, verse 37. Allah, Mawa'ida, Yahweh, Ashar, Fakwar Atham, Makwar Kodash, Lakwar Yab, Ashar, La Yahweh, Allah, Salaki, Wamanaka, Zabak, Wanasakyam, Dabar, Yawam, by Yawamwa, 38. Salaki, Malabad, Shabbathab, Yahweh, Wamalabad, Mathan Wath Yakam, Wamalabad, Kal, Nadarak, Salagi, Nadar Yakam, Wamalabad, Kal, Nadaba, Wath Yakam, Ashar, Fathnawa, La Yahweh, verse 39, Aka, Ba'am Masha, Ishar, Yawam, Lakadash, Hashab Yaayim, Ba'asakam, Ath, Thabawath, Ha'arataza, Thakagat, Thakagawa, Ath, Kaga, Yahweh, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Wayawam, Hara'ash 1, Shabbath 1, Obayawam, Hasham Yanya, Shabbath 1, verse 40, Walakwa Katham, Lakam, Bayawam, Hara'ash 1, Par Ya, Aitaza, Hadar, Kapath, Thamaria, Thamaria, Wa'inapa, Wa'inap, Aitaza, Ibath, Wa'irabia, Nakal, Washamaktham, Lapanya, Yahweh, Alahayakam, Shabaitha, Yamayam, verse 41. Wakagatham, Athwa, Kaga, La Yahweh, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Bashana, Kakwath, Iwalam, Ladarathikam, Bakadash, Hashab Ya'ayu, Kakagawa, Athwa, verse 42, Basakath, Tashabwa, Shabaitha, Yamayam, Kal, Azarak, Baya, Baya Sha'ala, Yasha, Yeshabwa, Basakath. So we're going to read those same verses 38 through 44. That's 42. 36 through 32. 36 through 42. Forgive me. Hey, you'll be able to reach me up? You good for now? You good for now? I'm saying when I you good for the next 20 minutes?
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna read Leviticus chapter 23, verse 36. 7 days ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. On the 8th day shall be an holy convocation unto you, and ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High. It is a solemn assembly, and ye shall do no servile work therein. These are the feasts of the Most High, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. To offer an offering made by fire unto the Most High, a burnt offering and a meat offering, a sacrifice and drink offerings, everything upon his day. beside the Sabbaths of the Lord, and beside your gifts, and beside all your vows, and beside all your freewill offerings, which ye have given unto the Most High. Also on the 15th day of the 7th month, when ye have gathered in the fruit of the land, ye shall keep a feast unto the Most High 7 days. On the first day shall be a Sabbath, and on the 8th day shall be a Sabbath. And ye shall take, and ye shall take you on the first day the boughs of goodly trees, branches of palm trees, and the boughs of thick trees, and the willows of the brook. And ye shall rejoice before the Most High your power 7 days. And ye shall keep it a feast unto the Most High 7 days in the year. It shall be a statute forever in all your generations. Ye shall celebrate it in the 7th month. Ye shall dwell in booths 7 days. All that are Israelites born shall dwell in booths. All right, we're going to read the last couple of verses in the Hebrew, read it in English. I'll go ahead and start breaking this thing down. All right, verse 43. Lamai 1. Yadai wa. The Rathicum Kaya. Basakwath. Hawashab Thaya. Ath Banya Yasha'ala. Ba Watazaya Aya. Awatham. Ma'arataza. Matazarium Anya Yahweh Allahayakam. Verse 44. Waya Debar Masha Ath Ma'idya Yahweh Al Banya Yasha'ala. Read those last two verses. And then we'll go ahead and start breaking this thing down. Leviticus chapter 23 and verse 43. That your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths. And when I brought them out of the land of Antslakin, let me start from the top, forgive me. Verse 43, that your generations may know that I made the children of Israel to dwell in booths when I brought them out of the land of Egypt. I am the Most High, your power. And Moses declared unto the children of Israel the feast of the Most High. All right. So now we're going to go ahead and we're going to break down this feast, the feast that we're in today. All right. We're in the feast. This is a feast day called the Memorial of the Blowing of Trumpets. All right. Let's get that real quick. We're going to read it in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. Let me see real quick. We're in 24. We can start at verse 23. So let's get Leviticus 23 and 23. Let's start breaking down what this feast day is about and why we are here today.
Come on. This is the book of Leviticus.
You want Shamar?
No.
All right, let's say that. You good? Go ahead. Good. I was just gonna have you move up, but you good. You can stay back there.
Go. This book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 23. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, In the 7th month, in the first day of the month, shall ye have a Sabbath, a memorial of blowing of trumpets, and holy convocation.
So that's what we have in the day right now. Of course, we don't, what we live by today, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, all of those months are what's called the Gregorian calendar. All right. So in the Gregorian calendar, we're in what month? We're in the 9th month. But what does the scripture say the month is that we're to celebrate this Sabbath or this high day?
In the 7th month.
In the 7th month, right? This also just goes to show you that the Israelites, we had a custom, we had our own calendar. All right. It's a different calendar than what we, follow today. That's why we still try to put it on. Like if you've seen the flyer for the Memorial of the Blowing of Trumpets, it will still say the 7th month. And then we'll have to say September, what is it, the 15th? We'll have to say September the 15th, right? And that's important. Knowing when to celebrate these days, we have an entire department dedicated to understanding when these high holy days are to be kept, right? That determines our Passover every year. If you notice, our Passover is not, April 14th every year. It's not our Passover every year. Last year it was April 1st. The year before that it was April 24th. I mean, years before that it's been in May. You understand? So, I mean, not in May, in March. You understand? So, that's because we're going off of, we have to align it with the Gregorian calendar, but we have our own calendar system that goes by what? The moon, right? That's why every new month, we count every new month by a new moon. That little sliver that you see, not a full moon, but that moon is just a very small sliver. That's when it's the new moon. That's the beginning of a month. And like I said, we have a team, an department that's completely dedicated to making sure that we celebrate our feast days on time. All right. And that department has, with their painstaking research and diligence, they have made it clear that September 15th on the Gregorian calendar is what this day is in the Bible. All right, just to make sure y'all understand that. A lot of people get hung up on that. They say it's the seventh month. That's July. That's not at all what it is. Keep going.
Come on. Verse 25. Ye shall do no servile work therein, but ye shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord.
So not only is this a holy convocation, a holy convocation is a holy gathering. It's a separate gathering, right? Of course, we all might have family, even some friends outside of the truth, but this is a separate gathering. You might get together with your family, but a lot of our families are just not in the truth. And that's a gathering that's okay. It's not unlawful, but this is a separate gathering. This is a holy convocation. This is when our family, the family that serves the Most High. Remember when Christ said, who is my mother, my father, my brother, my sister, those that do the will of the Lord? This is that separate gathering. And this is where we gather today. This is where your brother and your sister are not going to come because they don't believe in this thing. But we're going to come here because this is what we believe in. This is us serving our God. And that's why this is a holy convocation. That's why it's important for us to get together. It's also a commandment for us to come together on this day. Not only that, but it says also that you shall do no servile work therein. This is a day off of work. America gives you days off for Christmas and Thanksgiving and all of these different, Labor Day or whatever. But those are heathen customs and heathen traditions and heathen holidays. We have our own holy days that we're supposed to celebrate that the Most High tells us, hey, take this day off of work. Not only do you get your 7th-day Sabbath rest and you don't work on the Sabbath, but you also get these certain days throughout the year that you rest. You come to, to the temple, you have a feast, you make your offerings to the Lord, and you don't do your slavery that day, or you don't do your servitude, your servile work, right? So it says, you shall do no servile work therein, but you shall offer an offering made by fire unto the Lord. So that's just the basic. It's only 2 verses in the entire chapter that explains what the memorial of the blowing of trumpets is. It doesn't even give you an in-depth, like, well, why are we celebrating or remembering the blowing of the trumpets? What's the importance? So give me Numbers, the 10th chapter. All throughout the Bible, you find an importance of, or a significance in trumpets and the blowing of trumpets, sounding the alarm. Even I know a lot of people, if you've been to, Christian church Sunday school, you know about the story of Jericho, where they circled 7 times, they blow them trumpets. There's a significance of those trumpets. Then we'll get all of that and we'll understand what the significance is. And there's a reason why the Most High wants us to have a memorial once a year about the blowing of these trumpets, right? So I'm gonna give y'all just a few examples before we, break it all the way down. Give me Numbers, the 10th chapter and the 8th verse.
8th verse.
Okay.
Look at Numbers chapter 10.
Give me let me see. Give me verse. I might need you to read up just a tad. Let me see. Try verse 7.
Book of Numbers, chapter 10, verse 7. But when the congregation is to be gathered together, ye shall blow. Okay, yeah, I would love to read this entire chapter. Let's start at verse 8. Forgive me. Start at verse 8. I'll give y'all the context. Let's just read it. Verse 8. And the sons of Aaron, the priest, shall blow the trumpets, and they shall be to you for an ordinance forever throughout your generation. All right, so something's happening here. Remember, we're in the book of Numbers, all right? In the book of Numbers, in this timeline, we're still in the wilderness. This is after the Most High has given us Moses and Aaron to lead us out of Egypt to go into our land. We still fighting Canaanites and all types of different ites to get in our land, to gain our land, right? And so while we're in the wilderness, the Most High is setting these ordinances, right? And he's given us these orders in different ways that he wants us to, to go forward. This specific order or commandment is talking about the priest's horn. If you read the 2nd verse, it says, "Make thee 2 trumpets of silver of a whole piece. Thou shalt make them. That thou mayest use them for the calling of the assembly and for the journeying of the camps." So, what is the purpose of these trumpets that the Most High is ordering the priest to make? It says to call people together. Right. It's an alarm, right? It's an alarm. It's like imagine right now. We don't live in a state where they have hurricane warnings or like tornado warnings. But if y'all know anything, maybe y'all watched a little bit of TV where you've seen some cities or towns that are prone to hurricanes or tornadoes. They have these big loud sirens that are all throughout the town. That if there's a big storm, a tornado, or a hurricane coming, it sounds an alarm so that everybody knows, oh shit, excuse my language,
we have to, get some cover. It's an alarm. It's something that tells you that something is going on. Well, that's the same thing that the Most High told the priests to build, a trumpet, which was used to be an alarm. And what the priests would do is they would sound that alarm when it's time for everybody to come gather at the temple. You understand? Or gather at the tabernacle. That's what the whole point of them building these trumpets are, right? So now that we have the context, read verse 9.
Verse 9. And if ye go to war in your land against the enemy that oppresseth you, then ye shall blow an alarm with the trumpet.
So once again, here we see that the trumpets are being utilized as an alarm, right? Go ahead.
And ye shall be remembered before the Lord your God. You should be saved from your enemies.
And so not only is this going to alert all of the, the civilians, the citizens of our nation, right? But it's also going to show the Most High that we've kept his ordinance. Sometimes the Most High give you an ordinance like this, a commandment like this, where it seems like you can skip up on it. It seems like, well, he just blow a horn. What's the big deal? But the Most High will tell you to do simple things like that. And if you do them, the Most High will deliver you out of the hand of your enemies, right? That's what he said, right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 10. Also, in the day of your gladness, in your solemn days, in the beginning of your months, ye shall blow with the trumpets over your burnt offering and over the sacrifices of your peace offerings, that they may be to you for a memorial before your God.
Right. And now this, of course, this is after we received the law in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, right? Go to Exodus, the 19th chapter. I wanted y'all to understand something real quick about what those trumpets are used for. Now we're going to get a live example of how those trumpets were used and what this memorial that we're celebrating is actually based off of, what Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, is telling us to remember. Remember, the word memorial means to remember something, to keep something in remembrance. So in order for there to be a memorial of the blowing of trumpets in Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, we have to be remembering something that happened prior to that. Let's read Exodus, the 19th chapter. There's a little bit of reading we got to do. All right, Exodus, the 19th chapter and verse 14. Kabatamov asked in the chat, he said, so is the trumpet only an alarm? No. And we'll read a little bit about that, but it's used for more than alarm. In Exodus 19, we'll get a little bit more with this example. All right, give me Exodus 19 and 14. One second, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, go ahead, read that for me out. Exodus 19 and 14.
Book of Exodus, chapter 19, verse 14. And Moses went down from the mount unto the people and sanctified the people, and they washed their clothes. Verse 15. And he said unto the people, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives.
Right. He said, come not at your wife. Now, what's happening right now? Who can tell me what's happening right now in Exodus, the 19th chapter? Razan, you give it a shot. Tell me what's happening.
Yeah, this is, of course, it's after they left Egypt. I think this is probably right before Moses goes up.
Yeah, so this is directly before Moses goes up onto Mount Sinai. And right before he goes up to that mountain for 40 days and 40 nights to receive the commandments of the Most High, right? And Moses is preparing the children of Israel. He's preparing them for what's about to happen. And he's even telling them, come not at your wives. Why? So that these brothers and sisters, this nation as a whole can be clean, right? So he said, be ready against the third day. Come not at your wives. Go ahead. Verse 16.
Verse 16. And it came to pass on the third day in the morning that there were thunders and lightning in a thick cloud upon the mount.
And this is why he said to be prepared toward that third day, because Moses understood what was about to happen, right? He knew that he was dealing with the Most High God. And this is right before he was dealing with the Most High God face to face. You understand? Right up on that mountain. All right, so it said there were thunders and lightnings and a thick cloud upon the mount. Go ahead.
Okay. And the voice of the trumpet exceeding loud.
And there was a voice of a trumpet, so there was a trumpet that blew exceeding loud, extremely loud, right? Go ahead.
So that all the people that was in the camp trembled.
Everybody that was in the camp. Now, don't think of it camp like it's a small little camping ground. We're talking about thousands of people. All right, thousands of people, you know, in this wide open wilderness. All right, looking up at this mountain, and you see this swirling cloud on top of this mountain with thundering and lightning, and there's this trumpet that blows so loud that it makes you shiver, it makes you shake, makes your knees knock. You understand? This is how loud that trumpet is. Scare these people half to death, right? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 17. And Moses brought forth the people out of the camp to meet with God.
So Moses is now bringing the people. Remember, Moses is like the intercessor between the people, the children of Israel, and the Most High, right? Go ahead.
Okay. And they stood at the nether part of the mountain.
Go ahead.
Verse 18. And Mount Sinai was altogether on a smoke, because the Lord descended upon it in fire.
Right. So now, once again, you see, you got to imagine this thing. You understand? You in this wilderness, and this mountain, this tall mountain, smoke is descending down on this mountain. Lightning, thunder, all types of fire, and trumpets blowing, and that's just a ridiculous sight. You can't even, fathom it. Right? Keep going.
And the smoke thereof ascended as the smoke of a furnace.
And that smoke was rising up into the sky, right? Go ahead.
And the whole mount quaked greatly.
And the whole mountain quaked, like shook. That's what that word quake means. You understand? The mountain itself is quaking, it's shaking, right? So you got to understand all of these different things that happen at the same time. These people are scared to death, right? Go ahead.
Okay, verse 19. And when the voice of the trumpet, sounded long and waxed louder and louder.
And the voice of that trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder. Go ahead.
Moses spake, and God answered him by a voice.
Now, what's the significance of this, right? This is the first time that the people are actually experiencing the power of the Most High. Up until then, of course, the people had seen the 10 plagues. They seen the frogs. They seen the river turn to blood. They seen, they seen the firstborn of all of the children of Egypt die. You understand? They saw Moses part that Red Sea. They saw all of that. But this was the first time that they're experiencing the Most High, like straight up in person. You understand? And that's why, of course, you see these trumpets getting louder and louder. All of these things happening at once. These people are scared to death. And then it says the voice of the trumpet sounded long and waxed louder and louder. And then Moses spake. Remember, he's the intercessor. He's the one that makes intercession between us, at this time anyway, between us, the children of Israel, and the Most High God. He spoke, and the Most High responded to him. Go ahead.
Okay, verse 20. And the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai, on top of the mount, and the Lord called Moses up to the top of the mount, and Moses went up.
Go ahead.
Verse 21. And the Lord said unto Moses, go down, charge the people, lest they break through unto the Lord to gaze, and many of them perish.
So now, what is this talking about? Once again, you have to remember that Moses is the intercessor. Moses could deal with the Lord face to face, but the children of Israel themselves couldn't go up and deal with him. That's why Moses had to go up the mountain by himself, right? And so what did the Lord tell him to do? He said, go down and charge the people, meaning to tell them, lest they break through unto the Most High to gaze, and many of them perish. Right? Go ahead, verse 22.
Okay, verse 22. And let the priests also, which come near to the Lord, sanctify themselves, lest the Lord break forth upon them.
Right, and if the priests approach the Most High, they have to sanctify themselves. That's why, remember, we just read a little bit earlier here that no man could come at their wives. Why? Because you had to be clean to deal with the Most High. Right? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 23. And Moses said unto the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for thou chargest us, saying, set bounds about the mount and sanctify it. Verse 24. And the Lord said unto him, away, get thee down, and thou shalt come up, thou and Aaron with thee. But let not the priest and the people break through to come up unto the Lord, lest he break forth upon them.
Right. Once again, this is still talking about the fact that the Most High is going to deal with Moses. He's the intercessor. He's not dealing with the children of Israel directly. And that's how it's always been. Remember, directly after Moses, who'd you have? You had Joshua. You understand? Following that, you had all of the different prophets and all of the different vessels that the Most High used to speak to the children of Israel. Right? It's always been that way. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 25. So Moses went down unto the people and spake unto them.
So that's when Moses went down and he let the people know, hey, listen, don't come up this goddamn mountain. Because the Lord already told me he's going to charge y'all if y'all come up this mountain. Right? And then now we're going to skip the next part. The next part is Exodus, the 20th chapter, which is what people call the 10 Commandments. So directly after Moses went down and he told the people, hey, don't come up here. I'm about to deal with the Most High. That's when the 10 Commandments were delivered unto Moses. All right. This is part. Now give me Ezekiel the 33rd chapter. This is part of the memorial that Leviticus the 23rd chapter is talking about. This is part of what we got to remember today. This is part of our covenant with the Most High God, right? And it's a lot of reasons why the trumpets are important in this Bible, right? Remember, when the Most High descended on that mountain, what happened? That trumpet got louder and louder and louder, so loud that the people trembled. The people were shaken in fear, right? So, like, and even if you go into the book of Revelation, it likens Christ the same way. You have to understand that trumpet signifies the presence of the Most High. Remember, we just read in the book of Numbers, the 10th chapter, that the priest was supposed to make those trumpets. For what? To alert the people, to alarm the people. Because the priests are also the intercessors between children of Israel and the Most High, right? So let's read Ezekiel the 33rd chapter in the second verse. And Kabbalah, this will answer your question that you asked just a bit ago.
This is the book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 2. Son of man, speak to the children of thy people, and say unto them, when I bring the sword upon a land, if the people of the land take a man of their coast and set him by their watchmen, if he seeth the sword,
when he seeth
the sword come upon the land, he blow the trumpet and warn the people. Then whosoever hears the sound of the trumpet and take him not warning, if the sword come and take him away, his blood shall be upon his own head.
So what does this mean? Read verse 5.
Okay. Verse 5. He heard the sound of the trumpet and took not warning.
So what is the trumpet? Once again, we keep saying the same thing over and over again. The trumpet in this instance represents what? Warning, alarm. It's something to get your attention, right? It's the same thing that the Most High did when he came down on Mount Sinai, right? He got the people's attention. That's why they started trembling, right? Keep going.
Okay. His blood shall be upon him.
Mm-hmm.
But he that taketh warning to deliver his soul.
See, everything about this Bible is spiritual, right? Not everybody took warning to the Most High descending on that mountain and that loud trumpet that they heard. Not everybody took heed to that. Why? Because even after that, you see the people went a whoring directly after that and made what? That golden calf, made an idol unto themselves. Went into idolatry. After seeing all of that, they didn't take heed to that trumpet, to that alarm that the Most High. The Most High made his presence known. The Most High made everybody to understand that he's the Most High power. That's why people were so scared. That's why that trumpet grew exceeding loud, because the Most High needed to make his presence known, right? But there were some that didn't take heed to that. The same ones that came up to Aaron and told him, I want you to fashion us an idol out of our gold, out of our jewelry, right? And so because they didn't listen to that trumpet, they didn't understand the power or heed to the power of the Most High, their blood is going to be on their own hands. You understand? Because the Most High already warned them. Right? Keep going.
Verse 6. But if the watchmen see the sword come and blow not the trumpet, the people be not warned. If the sword come and take any person from among them, he is taken away in his iniquity.
He is taken away in his iniquity. Go ahead.
But his blood are required at the watchman's hand.
So now what does this mean? Remember, if an alarm is something to get your attention, to cause you, this is what we do when we go out to camp. Like, it's a spiritual thing. It's not just, we're not just talking about picking up a ram's horn and blowing the horn all goddamn day, right? It's talking about a warning. When we go out to camp and we teach at camp, when we teach these classes, when we tell people that they got to repent, that's the alarm, right? And we're the watchmen of the Most High. It's up to the people to heed to what the watchmen say. If we tell you to repent, if we tell you that there's something that you have to do to get in the Most High's good graces, if you listen, you'll save your soul alive. But if you don't, you're going to die in your iniquity. And that's exactly what happened to the people in the wilderness that were not listening to the Most High's warning. Right? Keep going.
Verse 7. So thou, O son of man, I have set thee a watchman unto the house of Israel.
Mhm.
Therefore thou shalt hear the word at my mouth and warn them from me.
And warn them from me. Remember, I just said this. This is what the Bible is. It's always been the same way. It's been consistent from Genesis to Revelation, right? There's always been somebody that makes intercession for us, right? When you go back to the time of Moses, Moses was the one that made intercession. When his time was done, it was Joshua. After that, you had the judges, you had the prophets. Understand? This is Ezekiel. We're in the book of Ezekiel. The Most High is telling Ezekiel that he's the one that's going to make intercession. Why? Because he's the one that's going to warn the people, right? Give me Joshua, the 6th chapter. Let me get a couple more examples before we close out. Like I said, this is real simple. Like this feast is only mentioned in 2 verses in the book of Leviticus, the 23rd chapter, right? And all it is just to remember the things that we're talking about today. Specifically, when we're talking about the trumpet that the Lord blew that day before Moses went up and got those commandments, it's to understand the covenant that the Most High made with us, and it's a memorial, right? Give me Joshua, the 6th chapter, and then let me see where I want to be. Remember, I told y'all about Jericho. Like I said, anybody that's really ever been to like Sunday school, you probably have heard about the story. Let me see where I want to start at. Joshua, the 6th chapter. All right, let's start it. We got a little bit of time. Let's start at verse 1.
Okay. Look at Joshua, chapter 6, verse 1. Now Jericho was straitly shut up because the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
None went out and none came in.
Mm-hmm.
Verse 2. And the Lord said unto Joshua, see, I have given into thine hand Jericho, and the king thereof, and the mighty men of valor.
So just for y'all to understand what's happening, right? In order for the children of Israel to gain their land, this is how all land is gained. There had to be war, and there had to be a taking of land, which is what Joshua and the children of Israel was doing. They was going into these lands and they was taking over these lands. They was killing everybody, killing all of the men, women, children, all of the animals, any insect that was on the goddamn ground. They got rid of them so that way they could start their own country. So, you know, if that's what you want to call it, right? Their own landmass, right? And so Jericho was handed over to the children of Israel by the Most High, right? Go ahead.
Okay. Verse 3. And ye shall compass the city,
Mm-hmm.
all ye men of war,
Mm-hmm.
and go round about the city once. Thus shalt thou do 6 days.
Mm-hmm. This is just the Most High giving the order on how they're going to take this land. Now, remember, the Most High is very specific. Sometimes it seems like this is just, you know, why wouldn't the Lord just snap his fingers and get all the niggas out of there so I can have this land? But sometimes the Lord requires things of you that you might not understand. If you do those things the way that he tells you to do them, you're going to get exactly what you wanted. But if you step outside of those orders, the Most High is going to put you to death and you're going to die in your iniquity, right? So there's a certain order that the Most High is telling Joshua to tell the children of Israel or the men of war on how they're going to conquer this land, right? Go ahead.
Now, verse 4. And 7 priests shall bear before the ark 7 trumpets of ram's horns.
Mm-hmm.
And the 7th day shall ye compass the city 7 times, and the priest shall blow with trumpets.
Right, and this happened for 7 days straight, which is just, you know, 7 days of just marching around this city blowing trumpets. I mean, just going crazy. You understand? The people inside of the city was probably just, you know, scared to death. Remember, Jericho was straightly shut up because of the Israelites. They had heard, like, this is, you know, 40 years plus in the wilderness. Like, they have a reputation. The Amorites, you can find this in the book of Numbers. The Amorites understood the reputation of the children of Israel. You understand? So they had a reputation. Everybody understood about how they came out of the land of Egypt. So people was actually scared of the Israelites. They like, hey, I don't want to get involved with these cats because I don't want what happened to Pharaoh and the Egyptians to happen to me, right? Skip down to verse 15.
Come. Joshua, chapter 6, verse 15.
Uh-huh.
And it came to pass on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and compassed the city after the 7th manner 7 times.
Mm-hmm.
Only on that day they compassed the city 7 times.
On that seventh day, right? This is part of the order the Most High gave, right? Verse 16.
Okay. Verse 16. And it came to pass at the 7th time, when the priests blew the trumpets, Joshua said unto the people, shout, for the Lord hath given you the city. Verse 17. Right. And the city shall be a curse.
Drop down to verse 20.
Verse 20. So the people shouted with the priests. People shouted when the priests blew with the trumpets. And it came to pass, when the people heard the sound of the trumpet, and the people shouted with a great shout, that the wall fell down flat. So that the people went up into the city, every man straight before him.
Go ahead.
And they took the city.
And they took the city, right? So now, once again, this is that story of Jericho. What's heavy about this is, somebody got to tell me, after all of that, right, 7 days of marching around the city, and then on that 7th day, they blow the trumpet 7 times, right? And they give a loud shout, and that wall falls over. What does that signify? Like, what is this whole? Remember, it seems like a ridiculous thing. It seems like a ridiculous order to say, you're going to take this city, but before you even go inside that city, just march around it for 7 days and blow the trumpet a bunch of times and scream real loud. It seems ridiculous. So what does this signify when those walls fall down? Obedience unto the Most High, right? Remember, even in the book of Numbers, the Most High told the priests to build these trumpets. Those trumpets was built in the book of Numbers. The same trumpets we're talking about, right? But keep reading. Verse, let me see, verse 21.
Verse 21. And they utterly destroyed all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep and ass, with the edge of the sword.
Take me to 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Once again, that story right there, a lot of people put spookism on the story of Jericho. All that story represents is just obedience. That's it. Like the Most High told them to do something that was seemingly ridiculous, to march around the city for 7 days, and they did it. You understand? And once they completed those orders, the Most High said on the first day that the land was given into their hand, but they had to wait those 7 days and complete those orders in order to get what the Most High promised to them. Right? Give me 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter. Start at verse 51. We got a question online. The bottom of asks. He says that he wants to make. Okay, I want to make sure I understand. The trumpet is always communication to Israel, like Morse code, depending on what type of blow comes from the trumpet. No, I wouldn't. No. Okay, so Kabbalah, I wouldn't say that it's Morse code. I wouldn't look at it like that. So the trumpet is just an alarm. Depending on, we're going to read another instance. If you still have the question after this, then let me know. But I'm going to show you in 1 Corinthians, the 15th chapter, something that it's not Morse code at all. It's something it's prophecy. The Most High prophesied to Joshua what would happen when those trumpets was blown, just like what happened in the book of Numbers, right? I'll show you. So give me 1 Corinthians 15 and 51.
Book of 1 Corinthians, chapter 15, verse 51. Behold, I shew you a mystery. We shall not fall asleep, but we shall all be changed. For in a moment, in the twinkling of an eye, at the last trumpet, for all the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall be changed.
So what's the context of this? It's a different context. This ain't talking about, knocking down walls and going into some land, and conquering the land. That's not what this is talking about at all. This is talking about us being changed, right? And this trumpet signifies something. So what is this talking about? Razan, give it a shot. He said, behold, I show you a mystery. We shall not all sleep, but we shall all be changed. What's that talking about?
Good, sir. So this is, we just put the time when Christ comes back. So we all be asleep. So there are some that are asleep, as in not alive. They're going to be changed when they're risen up. Those of us are still in this living world will be changed as well, physically and spiritually.
Yeah, like that's what people get confused with, like what people call a rapture. Like the rapture is not a real thing. But there is, like when the chariots, when Christ returns and the chariots come, we will be taken up into the chariots and brought into the wilderness to train with, with Christ. Now, what this is specifically referring to, remember, if you go into the book of Revelations, you have different trumps, right? You have, this is talking about what the last trump, which a lot of people, I'm not even gonna get into what people try to, make this about. Some people try to make it about Donald Trump. It has nothing to do with that. This is still talking about the same thing that happened in Exodus, the 19th chapter. What happened in Exodus, the 19th chapter with the trumpet? It was the Most High making his presence known, right? And everybody trembled. Well, this is the same thing that's going to happen when Christ returns. It's the same exact thing, right? That last trump, for the trumpet shall sound, and the dead shall be raised incorruptible, and we shall all be changed, right? The water, I appreciate it. And we shall all be changed. This is talking about the return of Christ and talking about the establishment of the kingdom of Christ, right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 53. For this corruptible must be put on incorruption.
For this corruptible must put on incorruption. Go ahead.
For this mortal must put on immortality.
Right. So this trump is representing what? The coming of the kingdom of heaven. Where, remember, when you go into the book of Jeremiah, the 31st chapter, the new covenant says that no man shall have to teach his neighbor. We're all going to be keeping the law. You understand? We're not going to have it. We're not going to have a corruptible body. Will we still die of old age? Of course. But we're not going to be dying of gun violence. You understand? This is the symbol. This is symbolism of the kingdom of heaven. Right? Keep going.
Okay. Verse 54. So when this corruptible shall have put on incorruption, and this mortal shall have put on immortality, this shall be brought to pass the same that is written. Death is swallowed up in the victory.
Right. So once again, give me Matthew the 24th chapter. This is going to be the last precept. Right. Once again, this is talking about that trumpet symbolizing the coming of Christ, just like the trumpet in Exodus the 19th chapter symbolized the presence of the Most High. All right. And we're going to put this in the bag with Matthew the 24th chapter and the 30th verse. We'll read that. Whenever you got it.
The 30th verse?
Yeah, so Matthew 24 and 30.
Look at Matthew chapter 24, verse 30. And then shall appear a sign of the Son of Man in heaven. And then shall all the tribes of the earth mourn. And they shall see the Son of Man coming in the clouds of heaven with power and great glory.
Once again, this is talking about the return of Christ. And this is Christ himself speaking, right? He's prophesying his return, right? It says all tribes of the earth are going to mourn. Why? Because every eye is going to see him, right? And the tribes of the earth are going to mourn because they're going to realize that there's a black man coming to save blacks and Hispanics and put everybody else in captivity, right? Verse 31.
Okay, verse 31. He shall send his angels with a great sound of a trumpet.
With the great sound of a trumpet, go ahead.
And they shall gather together his elect from the four winds, from one end of the earth to the other.
So now, what does this trumpet signify? What like all of this that we've been, remember, Jericho, that trumpet signified what? Obedience. You said that, right? When we go back to Exodus the 19th chapter, right? The trumpet that was sounded then signified what? Signified the presence of the Lord and the establishment of his covenant with us, right? Once again, that was right before Moses went up on that mountain to receive the law, right? Here we have Christ. When Christ returns, there's also going to be another loud trumpet, which also signifies the covenant. Remember, in Luke, the first chapter, it tells us that this is the gospel, the good news, that Christ is going to return and free the captives. You understand that he's going to heal the sick. You understand he's going to heal. What the scriptures say, heal the brokenhearted. Right. That's part of the covenant. That's what the covenant has been since the beginning. All of these trumpets, what they represent is just our covenant and obedience unto the Most High. And that's why it's also, extremely important for us to have these high holy days that the Most High has set up for us to come together and read about these things and, you understand, learn about the history, learn about the history of our people, the history of this Bible, you understand, and the prophecy thereof, right? Keep reading.
Verse 32. Now learn a parable of the fig tree.
No, that's all I need. That's all I need. That you read verse 31?
Come.
Yeah. You understand? So that's the important part, man. Once again, This is, I'm going to read, go back real quick. We'll close out right now. Give me Leviticus, the 23rd chapter. And we'll close out with that. Give me, you can just start from the top. I just want to read this real quick.
Book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 23. The Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, saying, in the 7th month, in the first day of the month.
No, where you at? Yeah, Leviticus 23 and 1.
Oh, Book of Leviticus, chapter 23, verse 1. And the Lord spake unto Moses, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them concerning the feast of the Lord, which ye shall proclaim to be holy convocations. Even these are my feasts.
Right, and that's the Lord speaking. The Most High is saying that these are his feasts. That's what I wanted to close out with, because I want everybody to understand it. You understand? The nation that we live in, this empire called America, they have their own feasts. They got their Labor Day. They got their, what's coming up in November? That Thanksgiving coming up. They got Christmas coming up. That Halloween. I see the decorations already in the stores. They got their own thing going on. That's why the scriptures say, be in the world, but not of it. Like, we have to be here. This is where we live. You're gonna go to Walmart. You're gonna hit the supermarket. And you're gonna see the Halloween decorations. You're gonna see the Thanksgiving ads coming up, the Christmas thing. Everybody got that Christmas spirit. You understand? It's just a terrible thing to shake. That's why you're gonna have to know. You're gonna have to learn how to be around these things and realize that these things aren't for you. They for everybody else. What is for you though are these things. Like in Leviticus the 23rd chapter, these 7 feasts. These are the feasts for us. We don't need Christmas. You understand? We don't need Thanksgiving to be with family. We don't need any of those things. We don't need 4th of July to come together and barbecue. We barbecuing right now. We don't need any of those things. You understand? Because the Lord has given us our own culture. And we've detached ourselves so far from it that we feel like we need to attach ourselves unto American culture, which is just not ours at all. People kill themselves every year around Christmas time trying to live up to the American dream, which is just a facade, which is something that doesn't exist. You understand? So I wanted to close out with that so everybody can understand that the Most High gave us these feasts, right? We don't need to rely on America for a day off or for a day to get with family. Like, this is what the Most High has given to us, for us to have these holy convocations. So with that, go ahead and close out. We're going to close out with the prayers. So I might which means to stand. Turn to face the east. All right, we're going to read beginning with the Lord's Prayer in the Hebrew. Abanawa, Shabbat Shemayim, Kodash, Haya, Shamka, Yahweh, Malakwaka, Tabaa, Ratazaka, Haya, Asha, Barataza, Kawa, Haya, Bashamayim, Nathanawa, Lakam, Kalyawam, Wasalakanawa, Kawatnawa, Kasalagnawa, Kawatinawa, Walaha, Tabayanawa, Manasai 1, Abal, Hawashai Nawa, Mayan, Raikaya, Laka, Amalakwa, Wa'ala, Wathaparath, Laiwalamyam. Come on. In English. Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Yahweh, thy kingdom come. Thy will be done in earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. So be it. All right, we're going to read the power in the Hebrew. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Babakushai, Athanawa Hakak, Akala Rafa'ah, Kal Maka'ala, Wakal Madawa, Akala Tahar, Amatazarayim, Akala Kwayam, Amathium, Akaka Rakawa, Atamaala, Lagar Shun, Ba'ashem Yahushai, the Wadaman. In English. Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai, please give us the power, the power to heal all manner of sickness and all manner of disease, the power to cleanse the lepers,
Power to cleanse the lepers.
the power to raise the dead,
Power to raise the dead.
the power against unclean spirits,
Power against unclean spirits.
to cast them out.
Cast them out.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
In the name of Yahweh Shai.
Thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
We're going to read Psalms 121 in the Hebrew. Asha'ah,
Asha'ah,
Ayanya,
Ayanya,
Ahahaya,
Ahahaya,
Mayan,
Mayan,
Yaba'ah,
Yaba'ah,
Isaiah,
Isaiah,
Ma'aim,
Ma'aim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Aisha,
Aisha,
Shamayam,
Shamayam,
La'arataza,
La'arataza,
Ayathan,
Ayathan,
Lamawat,
Lamawat,
Ragalka,
Ragalka,
Ayanawam,
Yanawam,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Hana,
Hana,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yanawam,
Yanawam,
Wala'ah,
Wala'ah,
Yayashan,
Yayashan,
Shamar,
Shamar,
Yasha'ala,
Yasha'ala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Shamarka,
Shamarka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Tazalka,
Tazalka,
Al-Yad,
Al-Yad,
Yanyanka,
Yanyanka,
Yawamam,
Yawamam,
Hashamash,
Hashamash,
La'ah,
La'ah,
Yakaka,
Yakaka,
Wayarak,
Wayarak,
Walayala,
Walayala,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamarka,
Yashamarka,
Makar Rai,
Rai,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Athmapashka,
Athmapashka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yashamar,
Yashamar,
Taza'athka,
Taza'athka,
Waba,
Waba,
Wa'aka,
Wa'aka,
Ma'aitha,
Ma'aitha,
Wa'id,
Wa'id,
Awalam.
Awalam.
We read Psalms, the 83rd chapter in the Hebrew. Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Abdama Yalaka,
Abdamayalaka,
Al Thakaraj,
Al Thakaraj,
Wa Al Thashakwat,
Al Thakshakwat,
All,
All,
Kayahana,
Kayahana,
Awayabika,
Awayabika,
Yahamaya 1,
Yahamaya 1,
Ra'ash,
Ra'ash,
Alamaka,
Alamaka,
Yarayamwa,
Yarayamwa,
Sawada,
Sawada,
Wayatha,
Wayatha,
Yaitazawa,
Yaitazawa,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Al Tazapawanyaka,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Lakawa,
Lakawa,
Manakagidam,
Manakagidam,
Magalia,
Magalia,
Wala'a,
Wala'ah,
Yazakar,
Yazakar,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Sham Yasha'ala,
Awada,
Awada,
Kaya,
Kaya,
Yawaitazawa,
Yawaitazawa,
Laba,
Laba,
Yakhadwa,
Yakhadwa,
Alyaka,
Alyaka,
Maryath,
Maryath,
Yakarathwa,
Yakarathwa,
Ahawya,
Ahawya,
Adawam,
Adawam,
Washmaeliyam,
Washmaeliyam,
Mawa'aba,
Mawa'aba,
Wahagarya,
Wahagarya,
Gabal,
Gabal,
Waimawan,
Waimawan,
Waimalak,
Waimalak,
Talashah,
Talashah,
I'm Yeshabya,
Yeshabya,
Tazawar,
Tazawar,
Gamashawar,
Gamashawar,
Malawat,
Malawat,
Imam,
Imam,
Haywa,
Haywa,
Zawai,
Zawai,
Labanya Lawat,
Lawat,
Salah,
Salah,
Aishalaham,
Shalom,
Kamadyan,
Kamadyan,
Kasaya,
Kasaya,
Sara'ah,
Sara'ah,
Kayabyan,
Kayabyan,
Manachal,
Manachal,
Kwayashwan,
Kwayashwan,
Nashamadwa,
Nashamadwa,
Bayan,
Bayan,
Dara,
Dara,
Hayawa,
Hayawa,
Daman,
Daman,
Ladama,
Ladama,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Nada,
Nada,
Yamawa,
Yamawa,
Ka'ira,
Ka'ira,
Wakazaba,
Wakazaba,
Wakazabak,
Wakazabak,
Wakazazal,
Wakazal,
Mana'ai,
Mana'ai,
Call,
Call,
Messiah Kamwa,
Messiah Kamwa,
Ashar,
Ashar,
Amarwa,
Amarwa,
Nearashah,
Nearashah,
Lanawa,
Lanawa,
Ath,
Ath,
Na'awath,
Na'awath,
Alahayim,
Alahayim,
Alahaya,
Alahaya,
Shayathamwa,
Shayathamwa,
Kagalgala,
Kagalgala,
Kakwash,
Kakwash,
Lapanya Rakah,
Wanyaka,
Ka'ash,
Ka'ash,
Sabaira,
Sabaira,
Ya'ira,
Ya'ira,
Wakalaba,
Wakalaba,
Talahat,
Talahat,
Aryam,
Aryam,
Khan,
Khan,
Tharadama,
Tharadama,
Basairaka,
Basairaka,
Wabasa,
Wabasa,
Wapathka,
Wapathka,
Tabahalam,
Tabahalam,
Mala'ah,
Mala'ah,
Panyaham,
Panyaham,
Walawan,
Walawan,
Webakwashwa,
Webakwashwa,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Yabashwa,
Yabashwa,
Webahawa,
Rabahawa,
Ayai,
Ayai,
Wakaparwa,
Wakaparwa,
Weabadwa,
Weabadwa,
Weadaiwa,
Weadaiwa,
Kayatha,
Kayatha,
Shamka,
Shamka,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Labadka,
Labadka,
Ayawan,
Ayawan,
Akar,
Akar,
Haratazah.
All right.
All right. Psalms 83rd chapter in English. Keep not thou silence, O God.
Keep not thy silence, O God.
Hold not thy peace.
Hold not thy peace.
And be not still, O God.
And be not still, O God.
For lo,
For lo,
thine enemies make a tumult,
thine enemies make a tumult,
and they that hate thee have lifted up the head.
and they that hate thee have lifted up their head.
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
They have taken crafty counsel against thy people,
and consulted against thy hidden
and
ones.
consulted against thy hidden ones.
They have said,
They have said,
Come,
Come,
and let us cut them off from being a nation,
and let us cut them off from being a nation.
that the name of Yasha'Allah
The name of Yahweh
may be no more in remembrance.
may be no more in remembrance.
For they have consulted together with one consent.
They have consulted together with one consent.
They are confederate against thee,
They are confederate against thee.
the tabernacles of Edom,
The tabernacles of Edom,
and the Ishmaelites,
and the Israelites,
of Moab,
of Moab,
and the Hagarenes,
and Hagarene,
Gabal,
Gabal,
and Ammon,
and
and Amalek,
and Amalek,
the Philistines,
the Philistines,
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
with the inhabitants of Tyre.
Assur also is joined with them.
So also is joined with
They have hope in the children of
They
Lot.
have hope in the children of Lot.
Salah.
Salah.
Do unto them as unto the Midianites,
Do unto them as unto the Midianites.
as to Sisera,
As to Sisera,
as to Jabin,
as to Jabin,
the brook of Kisan, which perished that endured.
perished and endured.
They became as dung for the earth.
They became dumb for the earth.
Make their nobles like a rare,
They did it like a red,
and like Zeeb.
and like Zahab.
Yea,
Yea,
all their princes as
all
Abba,
the princes of Saba,
and as Amunah,
and Samud,
who said,
who said,
land.
Let us take to ourselves
Let's take to
the
ourselves
houses of Yahweh
the house of Yahweh
in possession.
in possession.
Oh my God,
Oh my God,
make them like a wheel,
make them like a wheel,
as the stubble before the wind,
as the snow before the wind,
as the fire burneth the wood,
as the fire burneth the wood,
and as the flame setteth the mountains on fire.
as the flames set the mountains on fire.
So persecute them with thy tempest,
So persecute them with thy tempest,
and make them afraid with thy storm.
and make them afraid with thy storm.
Fill their faces with shame,
Fill their faces with shame,
that they may seek thy name.
that they may seek thy name.
O Yahweh,
O Yahweh,
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
let them be confounded in trouble forever.
Yea,
Yea,
let them be put to shame and perish,
let them be put to shame and perish.
that men may know that thou,
That they may know that thou,
whose name alone
whose name alone
is Yahweh,
is Yahweh,
art the most high over all the earth.
are the most high over all the earth.
All right, we're going to read the blessings in the Hebrew. Barakatah Yahweh,
Barak atah Yahweh,
Wa Yahweh Shai,
Wa Yahweh Shai,
Wa Ma'aka'Allah,
Wa Ma'aka'Allah,
Wa Lahayim,
Wa Lahayim,
Wa Tazav Ya'ah,
Wa Tazav Ya'ah,
Alawab Yahana,
Alawab Yahana,
Alawapyim,
Alawab
Hasaranyim,
Hasaranyim,
Akwatazayanyim,
Akwatazayanyim,
Akayayoyim,
Akayayoyim,
Wa Hagwathim,
Wa Hagwathim,
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
Wa Shem Yahweh Shai,
Ba Shem Yahweh Shai,
the Wadaman,
the Wadaman.
in English. Bless you, Yahweh,
Bless you, Yahweh,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Yahweh Shai,
and Michael,
and Michael,
and the angels,
and the angels,
commanding General Yohana,
command you, Yahweh,
the generals,
the general,
the captains,
the captain,
the officers,
the officers,
the troopers,
the troopers,
and the sisters.
and the sisters.
Yahweh,
Yahweh,
in the name of Yahweh
in the
Shai,
name of Yahweh Shai.
thank you, so be it.
Thank you, so be it.
Sorry while you're shopping, we can be seated. Men of Israel, we're going to salute out. Sorry, holy day, men of Israel, Imagine. Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai, Barakatah.
So I told the sisters, Imagine, which means to stand. We give the sisters a courtesy salute. Men of Israel, Imagine Shabbat. Imagine Barak.
Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai.
Yadu Matah. Dismissed.